Rush Cyberfunk is nostalgic. Not that I played its inspiration to Jet Set Radio, but it has a feeling of an era long past for video games. A wonderful concoction of funky music, ridiculous story, and arcade skating gameplay, I'm reminded of my childhood. The memories of staying up late with my cousins playing classic skate games like Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2 and Aggressive Inline filled my mind as I booted up BRC. I smiled when thinking about the hours and hours of my life I spent striving for high scores and reaching hidden collectibles. I think one of the greatest successes for Rush Cyberfunk is to immediately evoke those happy memories. That gives it a pleasant head start, but also at the same time sets up expectations for the experience to come. Will I remember this game as I do those? Will it meet the standard for skating games that I expect? Of course, this is a review about Rush Cyberfunk, not those other games. So how does BRC show up? Ultimately, I'm mixed on Rush Cyberfunk. The game opens up with your character, a no-name blonde guy stuck in a jail cell. How you ended up in jail is unknown. An explosion rings in the halls from another cell. This is where you meet Trice, a member of the Bomb Rush crew. He somehow, and for plot, sees potential in you and breaks you out. Once out of your cell, the escape sequence, which acts as the game's tutorial, begins. This section does a solid job of teaching the basic mechanics of the game. After a series of platforming bits and police encounters, you and Trice finally get outside the facility. Just as you were about to jump and get out of the area, a mysterious and malevolent character suddenly decapitates you. Your limp body falls to the street below, and the screen fades to black. Somehow, you wake up in a comfortable setting. It's warm and relaxed, as if you have nothing to worry about. You see your new friend Trice, and a character that you haven't met before. Her name is Belle, another member of the BRC. Still unsure of how you are even alive, the screen pans up. A metal head sits upon your shoulders. After speaking with Trice and Belle, you learn of your main goal with the Bomb Rush crew, to take the All-City and own the boroughs. With a brand new head, a new crew, and a curious case of amnesia, you set out on the line of a lifetime. There are several positives that continue to stick in my mind after finishing up the game. I love the vibe of Rush Cyberfunk. The music and the aesthetic of the world were both fantastic, and I would argue are its most prevalent features. As soon as I booted up the game and got into the main menu, the music started and I was already grooving. I constantly bounced and swayed in my chair to the music as I played. It's strange, but somehow the sounds come together. One of my favorite tracks is the main theme. The slow build-up into what becomes a techno bop was off-putting at first, but as I came back to play the game again, that tune was something I was excited to hear before my play sessions. Almost all of the tracks elicit a whimsical vibe that is easy to listen to. The music is also used to differentiate each location. The hideout is a chill place to stay and practice your moves, so the track is more calm and laid back. Versum Hill is a sprawling plaza in the city filled with tourists. The track reflects that. All parts are moving, just like the busy locale. Each track is unique and there are several tracks per level. I enjoy finding new pieces of music to listen to as I made my way around each location. But if there was ever a track that didn't click for me, there was an option to change to a song that I did like. A nice option that I appreciated from time to time. The city that Rush Cyberfunk takes place in is another strong suit. New Amsterdam feels both futuristic and contemporary. Skyscrapers loom high above with plazas filling in the spaces between them. Malls and city districts are busy locales full of life that have unique art spaced throughout. People are clad in baggy clothes that fit the typical skater-tagger stereotype. Metalheads are totally normal somehow, and I'm here for it. Various factions all have their own style and are distinct. If Rush Cyberfunk did anything, it was to create an identity and nail it consistently. The creative vision is prominently on display. The gameplay, I enjoyed it. It was a good experience for the most part. After getting out of the tutorial, I was excited to see how deep the gameplay systems go. It took me some time, messing around in the first area, to get used to the controls. Movement felt floaty, especially when in the air. This is a double-edged sword. It was good because it allowed me to spend a little extra time planning my next trick and aiming where I was going to land. It was bad because I never felt the exhilarating sense of speed that I was hoping for. As I continued playing, other holes in the gameplay started to appear for me. There was surprising lack of trick variety. Only the face buttons, besides A, which is used to jump, were used for tricks. After a while, everything just felt samey. Bomber Cyberfunk does try to mix it up by adding in various equipment. I could choose from a skateboard, rollerblades, and a BMX bike. From what I noticed, they didn't do anything unique. Gameplay, while visually distinct with new tricks, was not changed. Additionally, and this is a larger issue for me, is that there wasn't any worry of failure. This could be either failing a trick or losing balance. No matter what I did, the only reason I would lose a combo is by jumping off the map or missing my next rail. Because of this, long combos became an afterthought. I could go on autopilot, and that would be more than sufficient for me to be successful. And BRC is more than just skating. There is on-foot combat in this game. Unfortunately, I did not enjoy it. It's as simple as mashing X over and over. It's sluggish, repetitive, and there was no impact when connecting. I feel that it was supposed to be a change of pace, but became an annoyance more than anything. Thankfully, combat does not pop up that often, but the few times I was forced to engage with that system, I got through it as fast as possible. And speaking of combat, there is also a police notoriety system. Similar to what you would see in GTA games, you can earn several stars for how much cop reinforcement is being sent your way. 1 star, and a few cops are chasing you. 4 stars, and they start calling in chainers, snipers, and helicopters all to hunt and prevent you from tagging the city anymore. This is a cool system to implement and goes well with the story of the game, but it did feel extremely aggressive. The chainers were the most bothersome as they will hinder movement, but I could mostly just skate by and leave them all behind. The story is wacky, to say the least, continuing to get bigger and bigger, all while not making much sense. After having your head cut off by DJ Cyber and surviving, the main goal is to get your revenge and retrieve your head. Bomber Cyberfunk slowly starts to unfold into a mystery that involves all of the boroughs of New Amsterdam. Who are you? Who are the Bomb Rush crew? Why do they see potential in you? I thought that the story, while as nonsensical as it was, delivered on its job as a device to progress you through the game, taking you to each location with a reason to tackle the faction that owned said zone. And while there was a purpose for you to be in each zone, the zones themselves were a mixed bag. As I mentioned, each location brings with it a faction that owns said location. These factions become the main objective as you need to overthrow them by completing various challenges. This is the main loop of the game. Go to a new borough, tag enough and earn reputation, defeat the faction members, and then complete a score attack group battle. My favorite gameplay bits were the various challenges and battles. My main issue with them is that they were all simple. Do a 30-second race here, or complete this easy line. The most difficult of these were the score attack battles, but even those were too easy because landing tricks and getting huge combos were too easy. Once these were completed, there was nothing else to do besides look for collectibles, so I just moved on from one borough to the next. The locations are all visually distinct from one another, and I was always delighted to see the new scenery. Each borough in New Amsterdam is different and enables several styles of play. It was great to go through the levels initially because everything was fresh and experiencing the new venue was thrilling. Later on though, it became a bit too repetitive. I enjoyed finding various collectibles strewn about for a time, but once I found the several lines that I could connect into a seamless one, gameplay started to become stale. There are a few exceptions spaced throughout the game though. I came across these levels as I progressed through the main campaign. The levels were linear, and the game became more of a platformer. Each time I came across one, I was in awe of the visual design. They look awesome, mind-twisting, physics-defying settings along with an almost intimidating skybox. I had a lot of fun experiencing these instances. The only negative about these story-based levels is that they didn't have any specific scoring system and are unfortunately not replayable. As I came to the end of Bomb Rush Cyberfunk, I reflected on what I had experienced over my 7 hours or so of playtime. I look back thinking that the time I spent in Bomb Rush Cyberfunk was worth it. Sure, there were aspects that didn't click for me, like the combat, or that I wish were expanded upon, like the faction challenges, but there was a lot in Bomb Rush Cyberfunk that I really did like. The music and the aesthetic of the game are top-notch, coming together to create a world I immersed myself in, and where I got a sense of culture and motivations for the characters I came across. Does Bomb Rush Cyberfunk rival the memories I have from when I was a kid hanging out with my cousins? No, of course not. But this game gave me the opportunity to reminisce and experience the joy that I had back then. Bomb Rush Cyberfunk is a quality arcade skating game with some rough edges. If I had to put a number to it on my 1 out of 100 scale, I would give it a 77. If you have the urge to feel nostalgic, go for it. Otherwise, I would suggest waiting to pick it up on sale. Thanks all so much for hanging out till the end of the video. If you enjoyed it, please feel free to give a like, subscribe if you're interested, and definitely stay tuned for some more content coming forward. I have some videos in the works that I'm working on. I guess that's what in the works means. So definitely stay tuned. Looking forward to hanging out with you guys later.